It's all about just increasing the odds for us to get that call, right? So why not to include such things? Hello friends, welcome to the channel. In this video, I would like to discuss about how to write a very good CV or resume or Lebenslauf for a German employer. For the people who are willing to apply for jobs to Germany, please keep in mind the CV format is slightly different for German employers. So you will need to pay attention to small details what we are going to discuss in this video and incorporate that in your resume before applying for the job in Germany. Before going into different sections of the resume, I would like to start with some general tips here. Let's get started. The resume length should not exceed more than 3 pages at any cost. My opinion is it should be only 1 to 2 pages, not more than that. But in case if you have a lot of projects or a lot of experiences, then it can go up to 3 pages. Not more than that, because if you go through some of the articles over the internet, you can see that the employers are spending only 6 to 8 seconds in each resume. So if you get only 6 seconds, if you have more than 3 pages, I'm not sure how much we are going to sell ourselves within that time. So it is good to have only 1 to 2 pages at the max. There are also some experts who are suggesting to have the words count as well, like 475 words to 600 words. I have not paid much attention to this, but there is also some suggestion like this. You can just do a word count and you can try to find out if your resume falls within this range. Of course, definitely we will need to do spell check. At the same time, try to do punctuation checks as well, where to include comma, where to include full stop. These type of checks also help you to improve presentability in your CV. I also got a question from one of my friends whether should we write the resume in German or not. In case if you are already fluent or at least you have working proficiency in German, only then it is good to write your resume in German. In case if you are just a beginner at A1 level and you are trying to write your resume in German, and in the interview if you are not able to handle the complete conversation in German, then it is going to be awkward situation for you. If you are very good in German, then try to write your Lebenslauf in German. Otherwise, you can just write it in English itself. What should be the font? You can just do with Arial, Calibri and Times New Roman. Don't do with lot of other fancy fonts. How should you save your CV file? This might sound silly, but sometimes we just write it like resume 5, resume 9. This is not going to help, right? So it is good to have some standard. So you keep your name and then resume or CV and then the current year. In my case, Jagan underscore CV underscore 2022 .pdf. Always try to give your CV in PDF format. Why am I stressing this here? Some companies completely use Ubuntu and Linux operating systems. They may not have Microsoft Office in their system. So in such times, when you are sending your Word document, opening in their open source or any other word processing tool, it is going to be misaligned. So it is always good to send your resume in PDF format. If you are enjoying this video till here, then please click that like button. That will motivate me to do more useful videos. With that said, let's continue to the next point. Here I would try to show some examples for each section. First section, your personal information. So obviously you will need to start with your name, write your first name and last name. Below that you can write your role also. In my case, I have written it as application manager. In your case, if it is a different thing, you will need to write that. Next thing, importantly, you will need to add a photo in your CV. Maybe this is not very common everywhere, but for German jobs, you will need to definitely add a professional looking photo in your CV. And then you will need to write your address, email ID. You will need to have your professional email ID. Don't include too many numbers or something like cool guy, lovely guy. Preferably, you can keep it with your first name and last name, after which please provide your phone number. Also, please include your date of birth. Maybe this is an optional thing, but most of the German resumes, whichever I have seen, they always contain the date of birth in it. After which, please include your nationality. This is important because based on that, the employer will be able to identify whether they will need to sponsor visa or not. Next is visa type. In case if you have a visa with you, like job seeker visa or blue card or normal work permit, you can include that here. Sometimes it may give added advantage. And on the right side, you can include the links that describes you more. like your LinkedIn profile, your GitHub profile. In case if you have a personal website for yourself, then you can include that also, and your Skype ID also. You don't need to mention everything, but consider including relevant links here. Second section, profile. Here we are going to write a short profile about ourselves with 2 to 4 sentences. It is to describe you in general about who you are and what you do and what are your vision and how you are going about it. Third section, work experience. In case if you are a fresher and you don't have any experience like intern, then you can include your education section here. But for the people who are experienced, they will need to list down their experiences here in chronological order. Latest experience at the top and the oldest experience at the bottom. Please write your role and from when to when you have worked. You will need to mention like month and the year. In case if your company is not widely known one, then you can just write 1 or 2 sentences to briefly describe about your company, and then you can list down all your other points. Generally what we do is we used to write down all our responsibilities and try to show what we have done there, but it will be good to include more of achievements instead of just writing our responsibilities. Also, when we are writing our achievements here, we will need to back it up with numbers. Maybe I can give an example from my past experience. I have done some root cause analysis activity. So I can say something like this. Performed root cause analysis on the outstanding issues in X project and resolved the top 10% of the issues. This resulted in reduction of 30% of new issues. It's like we are telling what is the problem, what you have done, and how it resulted positively for your project. And when you give it with some measurements like this, it gives more sense to the employer about your contribution. You don't need to come up with an exact number, but at the same time, it should not be like a cooked up number as well. If you can write it up in this way, this will definitely give you added advantage. Also, in your experiences, try to highlight the self-initiatives what you have taken from your side. For example, in my case, I have tried to do some knowledge transfer automation, the onboarding automation in one of my past roles. So maybe I can write that. It doesn't mean that you have to complete everything by yourself, right? In my case also, I have initiated that, but I was not able to fully complete it. I had to take my senior's help to complete that. So we both together worked in that. But the initiation was from my side. So you can write that as well. Like I initiated this knowledge transfer automation, and with the help of so and so person, I was able to complete it. It shows that you are an initiator, at the same time, you are a team player as well. This could also include some process initiatives and some type of initiatives wherein you help the team to improve the ways of working by doing small changes, or by finding some internet tools and giving it to the team members, which helps everyone's ways of working. So moving from only listing the responsibilities to writing about what you contributed and how it may be helpful to this organization also. That's our whole idea here. Also, in case if you have some gaps, then please try to include that as well. Recently, I was able to see one of the resumes wherein that person was working in a company for 2 to 3 years. After that, he took a break to build his own startup, but it did not work out for some reason. And then he came back and started applying for new jobs. So he clearly mentioned that from this year to this year, I took a break from corporate job and I was trying to do my own startup. So this is not actually a gap, but it is the gap in the job experiences, right? So he included that. In the same way, in case if you had taken a personal break, maybe you have tried something else, or maybe you have traveled the world, maybe it is very less in number, but of course, if you have done something like that, then definitely you can write that up. Fourth section, education. Here I would suggest include only the latest 2 educations. In case if you have done diploma, bachelor and then master degree, then you can just include the bachelor and master degree. Don't need to include the diploma one. If you have done only bachelor degree, then you can write only that. You don't need to include school and other stuff. Scores, I don't think it is mandatory to include, but if you think you have a good score, then definitely feel free to include that as well. In case if you have done any courses from Germany, like 1-year course or 6 months course, then feel free to include that as well. That shows you have some type of German touch already. Maybe that could help some of the employers. Next section, skills. You can highlight all the technical skills and soft skills what you have. While listing your hard skills, the technical skills, if you want to prepare your general resume, then you can try to list your skills based on your expertise. But in case if you are going to modify your resume based on the job which you are going to apply, then read through the job description extensively and try to find out which skill the employer needs the most, and try to put those skills at the top in your list. Of course, if you have that skill, otherwise don't try to bluff. And you can also include your language skills here. What are the different languages that you can speak? Definitely, if you know German, that is an added advantage here. In case if you are learning German, then you can write about that also. I hope you are aware that there are different levels, the rankings in German language or for any other language as well. You will need to write in which level you are in, whether you are in A1 or A2 or B1 or B2. Next section, honors and awards. In case if you have some awards received from your previous organizations, you can then definitely include that here. And some people try to do some hackathons or any other type of competition, and if you have won any of them, then you can also include such links here. I hope this will definitely add up to your profile. Next section, hobbies. This is an optional thing, I would say, but if you are including this, then just try to be more specific on your hobbies. For example, instead of writing reading books, you will need to write like reading science fiction books or reading self-help books. This may try to relate you with company's culture. Some companies have hiking activities as one of the most repetitive activities what they do as a company. So if you write something like that, maybe you can indirectly connect yourself with the company, and that may give you some edge to call you for the interview. It's all about just increasing the odds for us to get that call, right? So why not to include such things? And the final section, it is very typical in German resumes. You will need to sign the CV. You will need to mention the date and place, or at least just the date, and you will need to give a sign here. It doesn't need to be the exact sign what you put with your hand. This is just to make it like you acknowledge what you have written all over your resume is correct. I also provide a sample CV format below this video. You can click and download it. I hope this video can help you to prepare a very good CV for yourself, or at least it should help you as a starting point for you to start your German CV preparation. In case if you have some questions about writing your CV, then please ask your questions in the comment section. If I don't know the answer, still I could check with some of the people who can help me here in Germany, and I will be able to answer you somehow. If you think this is helpful to you, then please like this video and subscribe to this channel to see more Germany job search related videos and self-help related videos. And finally, thank you for watching this video. I will see you in my next video.